Hey guys, ladies and gentlemen, George here, and I think I managed to squeeze in a video this week after all is said and done. I took a bit of time off. My hope was, I'm looking outside the window here, and my hope was to do some yard work, but lo and behold, looks like rain is coming. It's going to be a bad storm because the birds are scurrying away like. Anywho, um, I was looking forward to making this video, and I took notes. I did my prep work, including an icon. And I'm naming this video 3 Critical Armor Survival Tactics. Um, they are critical survival tactics, but it's also inadvertently a way of showing you as well how you can use armor to your advantage to assist the infantry, combined arms, and basically it appears to be a armor survival video, but at the same time, um, you can use your armor doing these tactics more effectively to increase the armor survival rate and keep your armor alive to assist your infantry. Keep in mind, in squad leader, armor cannot control a building. They can only control a building hex. Um, there is a somewhat sleazy tactic of abandoning the AFE and having the crew gain the victory location, because the crew, albeit it's almost a half squad with 1 firepower factor, it's still a multi-man counter, and that little portion is conducive to the advanced game. So the crew popping out and occupying the entire building, gaining control of a building hex aside, the 3 things that I want to talk to you about are equally prevalent in starter kit and in advanced squad leader. And you may have overlooked them. And if you did, well, going forward, as of this video, we'll do a little read along, a little example, and you'll get it. I hope you'll get it. It's always important to play a scenario that reinforces these situations as well. Playing it with an experienced player, looking at the Q&A, all that helps. Anywho, the first thing I want to present to you is what we call bounding fire. Now, bounding fire in starter kit is rule 3.3.2.2 or 3322. You got a full house or 2 pairs. It's not a full house. It's 2 pairs, right? 2 threes, 2 twos, and if your opponent has 4 aces up your sleeve, you're at a loss. But 3 threes and 2 twos is a good way of remembering it. Bounding fire. And B is the second letter of the alphabet, so there you have it. Let's do a little read along, okay? Because it's a lot to consume, but let's read it. And we're going to only read the starter kit rule. And in the advanced game, it's Charlie 5.3 to 5.34. And it's brought up again in chapter D under 3.3. So what does bounding first fire entail? And rereading now. A vehicle may move and fire in the movement phase, including versus units in the AFE's own hex. This is termed bounding first fire. Place a bounding fire counter on the firing vehicle. There are various fire-based 2-hit DRM based on the amount of MP the vehicle has expended with a loss to the target. Covered arc change DRM never applied to a bounding first fire unit. Wow. A vehicle may expend delay MP while stopped to increase the amount of MP spent in the loss of a target in order to reduce the DRMs, but must announce the delay MP individually and suffer any defensive fire that is triggered by those delay MP. So what does that mean? Basically what that means is that You can expend a certain amount of MPs, stop, fire. In order to fire again, if you have rate, you have to expend a little bit more MP, keeping in mind that covered arc change doesn't apply. And while you're expending MP, even while stopped, your opponent, if he has a shot at you, they will be able to take it. And there are a couple of cases where, depending on how much MP your target was within your loss, it will be either a +2 or maybe a +4 to your to hit die roll. That's the long and short of it. Delay MP individually and suffer any defensive fire that is triggered by those delay MP. A vehicle may move again in the movement phase um, after firing, provided it has sufficient MP. A vehicle that did not exhaust its rate of fire may fire again as bounding first fire after expending another MP, but all other weapons must be fired from the same hex as the first MA shot. Now, the question bears in mind that if you fire your main armament, you must fire the MGs from the same hex. But if you fire MGs first, then can you fire your main armament from a different hex? I think yes, but look, don't take my word for it. I'm not a rule expert. Look it up in an existing Q&A. MG, IFE have their firepower halved in the movement phase and quartered if not stopped. Vehicular flamethrowers are not halved for firing uh, for firing in the movement phase, but are halved if not stopped. Interesting. The only way a vehicle may fire in both the movement phase and the advancing fire phase is if it fires only its main armament in the movement phase and retains rate of fire. Such a vehicle may fire once again in the advancing fire phase. Pretty simple to understand. Now, let's take a look at my situation here. Okay? So what my situation entails is Colonel Lutz here with a 4.67 in an LMG are trying to, let's say, go here in P3. That's their victory location. And they need to cross open ground, and typically starter kit scenarios are six player turns, maximum 6.5 player turns long. So if you're prep firing, you're losing. You need to move and fire. Now, this pesky little fellow is there. He doesn't have an ACK on him. Let's take a little pause and have a little tea break. I'm drinking Tim Hortons Orange Poco, and this video is not sponsored by Tim Hortons. It's sponsored by your support. Click on like and subscribe to encourage me to do more videos, and tell your friends about the channel. Let's see how this tea is like. And yes, I am drinking from my squad leader cup. It's actually quite delicious, and I've had it with no sugar substitute, and it's pretty good. Now, yes, so we got a choice here. We can slug it out during prep fire phase and delay our eventual movement here. The other thing you can do is move the vehicle here, and it will act as an obstruction to his view. But the other thing you can do is you can try to use bounding fire to eliminate this threat. So instead of prep firing, what you do is announce one to start. Now keep in mind there is a star and a red movement point factor there, so we got to roll for. In this case, it is mechanical reliability plus he might have to forfeit some movement points. So let's do 2d6. Ha! The dice cooperated with me. I don't have to demo this mechanical reliability roll. So starts for 1, 2, and 3. Now, here's the other deal. The other deal is in the advanced game, this situation here, putting your vehicle between two buildings allows for a -1 street fighting. Oh, he's not on a street. So we're good. We're good. So what I was thinking of is going like this, and this is street fighting, a situation of street fighting because this fellow is in a street between two buildings. So this situation doesn't appear to be the case. Just keep in mind in the advanced game, if you put your vehicle on the road between two buildings and enemy infantry, it's very, very vulnerable. Unless it has passengers, but even then. Now, how I do bounding fire. Start for 1, 2, 3. 4 to stop. Let's get out a dice and see where we're at. We're at 4. Okay. Now, remember what the rule said. We are halved, our MGs are halved for moving, firing during the movement phase. Great. But I'm point blank, so they're doubled. So halved and doubled makes a 6. This is a bow and coax, a 6, and he is a stone building, 6 up 3. Let's take that shot. 6 up 3, IFT. 8 on the 6. Something. 8 on the 6. There's a PTC. Not quite a morale check, but a PTC just the same. We'll pin them. At 4. Including the stop. And the covered arc change doesn't apply because I'm doing this. Now, where do I get the bounding fire? Let's see. It's not intensive fire. Flip. 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 Nope. Let's see here. Oh, wait a second. This is not what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is, let's see. There we go. So the counter, in fact, is for advance squad leader case C. I have to take a look at how those counters look in the starter kit bundle because we don't have in starter kit. It's case by number, not by letter. Maybe I should do an equivalency chart. Anywho, let's put this on the side for now. Let's do the pin results, the pin check. Pin, task check for the leader. Not that it matters, passes, squad, pins. So squad pins. So now we're facing, we just have that squad's firepower from an 8 down to a 4, plus they don't have any more rate of fire. So let's do a non-assault move and see if, well, before doing a non-assault movement, we can also do expend one more movement point. That makes it a 5. Now, keep in mind that while expending movement points, a vehicle can be a fair game to anybody, to any ordnance that has a line of sight to it. So 5 to start again, and 6 to stop, because I want to fire from a stop position. So firing from a stop position, I'm using the ASL to hit table at this range, would be 8, base 8. Let's do the math. Let's do the math. I got a little pen here. Base 8. Since I'm stopped, I get my -2 for close range. And I get a +4 for firing as a bounding fire. I'm estimated from the top of my head. +1 because I'm buttoned up. And +2 for the temp. So a total of 7 -2, 5. So I need a 3 to hit. Not much chance of me hitting it, but let's see if I get right. So 2 hit, oh, and a miss. Now he's marked with a bounding fire, but at the same token, he expended 6 MP out of the 15. He can start up again for 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and he puts himself in this position so he can subsequently fire in the following phase, um, in the defensive fire phase against this fellow. See? And the reason why I didn't leave him there was because he wouldn't act as a hindrance until after the advancing fire phase was over. So let's do our little attack. Non-assault movement, we're trying to get here, or maybe even to our target. So we'll go 1 to there, non-assault movement. He decides to fire there. So it's a 4 down 2, fires. It was leader directed, but with a 4 down 2, um, doesn't cower because it's leader directed. The leader wasn't pinned. Great. So we got 8 on the 4, which is a miss. And he's marked with the first fire. So 1, 2, 3. You can fire again. There's nobody closer. It'll be a 2 up 1. 7 on the 2. Just 1, 2, 3, 4. And firing, he's marked now with final fire. And that's all she wrote. He reached his victory objective. Completely random dice rolls here, not contrived. So bounding fire is an alternative to prep firing. It is a way to use your tanks during your movement phase to also help out your infantry that is attacking. Something to think about. That's bounding fire. Now let's go to situation number 2. Situation number 2 is a little bit of a predicament, and it's indicative of some predicaments that I fell into on numerous occasions, but up to now I didn't know that this little rule exists in starter kit, and it also exists in advanced squad leader. So it's a good tool to have. Think of it as a card up your sleeve. Yeah, an ace up your sleeve. This tea is great. So is a squad leader, by the way. Breaking news: Bank of Canada. Stay away from there. Okay, let's reset our example and go here. Now, on to example number 2. Example number 2 involves the challenge of destroying this big kitty cat. He has a frontal armor on the hull of 18. That's a lot of so that's a panther right there, right? And it's a duplicate or the German version of the T-34 sloped armor. And with sloped armor, you might have, let's say, an inch of armor, but when it's sloped, the thickness becomes a lot larger. Took a genius to figure that one out. So you got a panther with frontal armor on the hull of 18, and the turret is weaker because it's a circle. So 1 down from 18 is 14, and all you got is a measly T-34, and the 76 Russian 76. Russian 76. Where is the Russian 76? Why? Oh, there it is. I think it's a 12. over, it's not a 76 star, it's a 76. So I only see 12 here. Correct me if I'm wrong. I could be wrong. But let's say it's a 12. Subtract from it 14. You need snake eyes to do any damage to it. So again, what astute Russian players do, or clever Russian players do, is look at the movement points on this thing. It can do circles around you. Awesome. So let's do the example here. 17 movement points. You got to do mechanical reliability straight up because you have your movement points indicated in red. And remember, vehicles use movement points. Infantry use movement factors. And there is an equation between the two of them in terms of loading and unloading. And then subsequent ability to move away from a vehicle from which you depart. You don't have to worry about this at the starter kit level, but in the advanced you do. So let's roll mechanical reliability. Boink, 7. I'm pretty good. Starts for 1. And look what this clever rascal is going to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Turns his frontal armor towards you. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now I consider that a rear shot, not a side armor shot. Or he could have come over this way. Now consider that this fellow, the moment he saw you there, wanted to fire at you. He would have to turn his turret covered arc. That would be a +3. Like this, where's counterclockwise. Boom, that's +3. Then consider he'd only saw you for 1 movement point. That's another +4. Plus he is buttoned up. The chances of you hitting him are not good. Imagine he was here. Then you would have to expend more, a bigger penalty for turning your turret. I have a better idea. Okay? Well, now, and to boot, if you've done nothing whatsoever, he got the jump on you. He gets the jump on you, he's in your rear, and now he's facing a much better prospect of eliminating you because at that range with a 76L, or 76 rather, you got a 12 minus 6. And so instead of snake eyes now, it's more or less 6. +1 for a rear shot. So consider this. Consider this. A motion attempt. Now I'm not going to read the rule like I did for bounding fire, because bounding fire, there's a lot of elements to it, but I'm going to simplify and summarize the motion attempt, which is found in Starter Kit 4 or Starter Kit 3 and up. Starter Kit 3 and up, or on the PDF, it's Rule 3.3.2.1, or I believe where I found it in the ASL rulebook is Delta 2.401. So motion attempt. How many movement points did this turkey expend in your line of sight? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to spin around. You roll a 1d6, anything 5 or less, and this guy can go in motion and spin around. And typically what you like to do is leave him in motion, okay, because it adds another +2 DRM to his 2 hit dice roll. So now come his advancing fire phase. His 2-hit die roll, okay, is base 10. We're doing some math here on my little pad. 10 plus 4 for motion, okay, plus 1 for buttoned up, okay. The minus 1 for range doesn't count because he's a motion firer. Okay? So there's another plus 2 for your target being in motion. So tallying up the positive modifiers to be 7. So now it becomes a 3 to hit as opposed to a 5. Plus, to eliminate you now, it's darn outright impossible. So basically, the best way to approach this tank would be from the rear and the back. Now, is this a good tip? You decide. And again, if you think this helps you, kindly let your friends know about it as well, and subscribe to the channel and hit on the like button. So now, motion attempt, great. Bounding fire, check. Number 3, and number 3, I keep repeating it all the time, is smoke. Smoke him if you got him. Does this guy here, the T-34, have smoke? I bet you he doesn't. No. What does he have? A crew survival of 5. I hate to say this, but Russian tanks, sometimes they're a joke. Now, quantity always wins over quality, I think, but now, what do I mean by smoke? Let's see, do these guys have smoke? I'll make it quick for smoke, okay? SD5, 12 burn, 11 immobilize, 10 stall. Wow. I didn't know that. I thought it was a delay. Oh, I looked at my vehicle notes. That's another thing you should do. That's another thing you should do in order to increase your survival. Uh, I picked the wrong Panther. I'm not sure if I rolled a 10 or an 11. I thought I passed mechanical reliability, but if you look at the vehicle notes, you got SD6, SD5, so that's a smoke discharger. That's amazing. So I guess that's something. Now let's take a look at smoke in any case, okay? You got a big opponent. Let's say somebody has this ability to smoke. You got a big opponent that is armed with a gun that can obliterate you. You have to blind them. And you can't, and let's say you can't fire back and with all certainty, or your certain or your ability to eliminate them is remote, but you have smoke. Use it, because if this fellow is under a +3 smoke, he's firing within a smoke hex. He's adding a +4 to his dice roll, excluding, not taking into consideration another +1 for being buttoned up, and goodness knows what other modifiers would be applied to him. So you put him under a +3 smoke. It increases his 2-hit DRM, or increases his 2-hit DRM modifiers by at least +4. So let's do a quick recap and call it a wrap. And I'm crossing my fingers that there's no audio issues or any other technical issues with this video, because I only take 1 or 2 takes to do them. Let's recap. Motion attempt. Actually, I went with first bounding fire. Motion attempt. 3 smoke. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's 30 minutes long. I know after 30 minutes, people's attention span go out the window. And yeah, it's always a pleasure doing these videos, and I'll keep them coming. I have in mind another video that I'm going to do, most likely a solo play. using my own algorithm about how to play solo. I played an interesting scenario involving partisans very recently. It's an awesome video. It's an awesome scenario because it's anybody's game, really. It's so well balanced, and I just enjoy playing scenarios that um, I enjoy. Period. So I don't play scenarios over and over again simply because I become more familiar with it, and I enjoy playing it. Um, let's rephrase that. I don't replay games simply just because I want to get better at it. Um, from my perspective, if I play a scenario and I am simply dominating somebody with one side, or uh, I find the outcome to be a bit unfair, not because of the dice rolls, because the two components, the two sides that are fighting each other, there's some sort of easy clink into it. It doesn't make for an interesting scenario. Um, I've spoken before in other videos or articles that I wrote about what makes an interesting scenario. It's when there is either the ability to win using skill or the illusion that even though you're the underdog, you do have a chance of winning. Things like that. If it's interesting, that's what increases my uh, replayability um, um, playability factor. If it's blasé, or I guess it's subjective. If it's blasé, eh, what can I do? What can I say? I wanted also to go over a couple of comments from the previous videos that they've gathered. I'm not sure if I, I've gotten a lot of with respect to rating the different modules. Maybe it's a video in itself. Why couple that with this? And there were a few, quite a few good comments about it, and a few of them that were peculiar. Let's say call them peculiar, but maybe I'll do a video about that later on and make it a separate video. Yeah. And with that said, thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. I greatly appreciate your viewership, and yeah, if you do like to encourage me, click on the like and subscribe. Take care and have a great week ahead.